The Untold Secrets of Patient Care Technicians and Unit Communication Associates and Environmental Services that are making a difference in research and practice. And our guest speaker today is Julio Duras, who is a patient care technician and newly certified EMT on Fort East. He's been on Fort East for about 3 years and has made some really significant contributions to the care of patients and families up there. And so I'm just so excited for you to hear what he is going to talk about. And what this project stems from is we have a primary palliative care program here called Panda, which is basically a year-long intensive training and mentoring opportunity for bedside clinicians, from physicians, attending physicians, to just anybody that works with patients and families here, volunteers, nurses, advanced practice nurses, social workers, child life specialists, just about anybody you can think of. And Julio was part of one of the cohorts for Panda. And as part of that experience, you don't get something for nothing, right? And so we wanted folks to be able to take this training back and make something meaningful out of it. How are you going to take what you're learning and use that to improve care or to make an impact for the patients and families that you serve, or for staff, whatever. So Julio not only rose to that occasion, he really went above and beyond. And he's going to tell you a little bit about this, but I'm going to tell you too. So when everybody goes, sort of, they volunteer for what order they want to go in. He kept telling me, I want to go last, like, let somebody else go. And I thought, okay, he's just nervous. And then he gets up there at the end of the day and, like, floors everybody. Everybody else was like, why did I even bother? Threw their hands up in the air because his was just so dynamic. But I think the thing that is really important, and the reason that he was asked to speak today, is he took what he learned. So he took this QI project, this evidence-based practice project that I implemented, taking primary palliative care education to help bedside clinicians improve care, and he really translated that into direct to the bedside, to the patient, to the family, and really making a difference. So that's what we wanted him to talk about today. So without further ado, my son, Julio.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Julio, just 1 second. I just want to remind people, if you would like to, you need to sign in at the front. Okay.
Sorry if my voice goes away. I've been practicing every day. I'm finding my voice decided to be like, we're done. But thank you, Debbie. So before we start, I just have to say thank you. There's a lot of people I got to say thank you to, but there's some really important people here today. First of all, Debbie. She actually gave me a chance to join the Panda Cup program. I remember when I first started on 4 East, if anything was going crazy in the room with a child who's end of life, they'll be like, don't worry, Debbie's coming, she has it, she got this, okay, like, it's okay, and everyone felt more comfortable. And then when I saw the application come up, I actually reached out to her, and she said, yeah, why not, let's do it. We've never had a PCT join, so let's get this started. Also, I think she said that up. I was invited to a meeting, and I was extremely nervous that day because, I showed up in scrubs because I thought it was just like a casual meeting. And then everyone in the room had either like 3 PhDs or like 4 masters. And it was my turn. I was like, I'm not going to go into my school background. And after, she was like, hey, do you want to stay? Can we talk? And she actually invited me to participate in Research Education Week. From there, I met Ginger, who, after we had our meeting, I think I was like super lost and confused and wrote so many notes. And Ginger was like, let's sit down, figure out what happened, where are you still here? And she was like, let's set up a team of amazing people that are going to work with you. And for the last couple of weeks, actually more like 2 months, I feel like I've been working with Heather, who's pretty much organized everything. and has guided me from where I was, which was like at a different hospital, I think, back to children. So hopefully you guys like the presentation. We are going to have some group activities, so you guys see posters here. We do have little Sharpies that you guys can use, so we're going to actually divide at some point. I'll tell you guys, we're going to divide in half, okay? So where did it all start? So like I said, I'm a patient care tech, also referred to as a PCC, so you guys might meet. You guys are going to hear me say PCC throughout the presentation. And the hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplant unit. I'm also part of the decon team for the hospital, also part of the skin team, and Panda Cup. When I got hired with my amazing manager, Cleo, at the end, they always, my friends always taught me, hey, ask a question before you finish your interview so it looks like you really want the job. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Cleo's like, are there any opportunities for PCTs to grow within the hospital? And she goes, I think there are. We're not sure which groups those are, but I'm sure when you get hired, we can try to figure it out. And I was like, all right, so day one, I was like, well, I need to join something. I was like, I can't. I also have about 5 years of background as an EMT for the state of Maryland with adult hospice patients and pediatric hospice patients. The crazy thing as an EMT is that you get no training whatsoever on how to deal with adult hospice patients and pediatrics at all. So that was very interesting how I landed in that field. And for the last year or so, after we finished our Panda Cup project, we've developed a lesson plan for PCTs and environmental services to start getting pediatric palliative care awareness training as a standard for the hospital, because the hospital actually did not have that program. So 2017, like Debbie said, I was accepted into the program, which was extremely exciting. I think I wrote like a 2-page essay. It was the longest paper I've written in a while. And it was a 1-year program where we learned from so many staff that are part of that team, and they come and just teach you a lot, and also teach you how you can implement that to the bedside, and also how to interact with kids and their parents as well. Like she mentioned, we had One Simple Change project. Originally, my project was PTSD for nurses, long-term, and Debbie was like, okay, that's amazing, but let's focus a little more on something that we can get done this year. And I was like, okay, let's change it. And that's where we developed this program. So for the last year, thanks to Ms. Montague, we were able to introduce this training at orientation classes. So from now on, since 2018, every new PCT that comes in to the hospital is obligated to go through this training. They cannot finish until they get the training on how to interact with kids and their family members as well. In 2019, we realized that there was a gap of a group that wasn't being reached, and that was environmental services, which is a group that's unfortunately sometimes ignored or not addressed throughout the hospital, but they have a huge part in caring for the kids and interacting with the family members and also interacting with the patients. So we are, May 18th was our first class. We had about 35 to 40 students. This was patient care techs and nurse trainees. And you guys can see that in July as well, August, all the way through February 2019. And as of Friday, we got the email saying that we're going to be having 4 more classes for each month coming on, starting actually next week. So we're already scheduling classes for the new hires that are coming in. With our EBS staff in 2019 is when we started the program, so they have about 180 staff members right now on their payroll. We've gotten huge support from all their managers and supervisors, and originally the program was meant to be for new hires, and they were like, no, we don't want that. We want you to train the staff right now. We want you to just get the ball rolling, and then we'll add the new staff as they come. So far we've trained 22%, and we're also scheduled for this year to teach more classes for them as well. Our goals for 2019 are going to be to, again, continue our classes for patient care techs and nurse trainees, Also introduce the class to senior patient care techs who never actually received that training when they first started here. There's a lot of awesome techs throughout the whole hospital that have been here for 20+ years and have a lot of input and a lot of information they can share with all of us. And then hopefully one day, if Heather approves, introduce us to the Power of One training. All right, so this is my favorite part of the whole day, is when I get to meet with all the PCCs downstairs or the EVS staff, and I get to go through this program that we developed for them. And unfortunately, I can't give you the whole class. I can't do the whole 1-hour lesson plan for them. The funny thing is that originally when we first started, they said, hey, we can give you 5 minutes. So I had a 1-hour presentation in 5 minutes. So now they're like, okay, you have an hour. I'm like, great, we're back to an hour where I wanted to be. So here's what we're going to do. This is what I do with everyone, because we're all just from different departments. I ask everyone just to take their badges off, and we're all going to be PCTs for the rest of the class. Okay, and if you're a PCT, you can keep your badge on. You might not. All right, so welcome to Children's. If you guys didn't know, we're the top 5 hospital in the country and the #1 NICU in the country as well. So if you're going to the NICU, that's awesome, and if you're here, that's way better. So your dream job. So you've been applying for a long time to get here, and if you were lucky like I was, it took me 5 years to get hired here at Children's, and I kept applying and would always get rejected. One day I want to know why, but today's not that day. You're going to go to the Power of One training, and you're going to learn so much about the hospital, just about how everything is, how everything works, and you're going to meet so many different departments. My Power of One training was really weird because they brought toys, and I was like, what's this? I was like, this is the first training I've ever gone to where they bring toys for people just to play with, but they wanted everyone to feel like a kid that day. You're going to meet your managers who are amazing, and on top of that, don't worry, okay? We all get lost, so you're still going to get lost at the hospital. I actually this morning had to do a walk around, making sure I was going to the right places today so I didn't get lost and show up late. All right, so you spend months of training, and this is the reason why we developed this, because we looked at the training that involves a PCT when they go to school. They either have a traditional program of 6 months or an accelerated program of 4 weekends, and that's it. Through the entire DNB area, there's nowhere in the program that teaches about pediatric palliative care training whatsoever. That's just not part of their training. We also talk to nurse trainees as well when they come through the class, and at the point when they start working here, they actually haven't received any training whatsoever either. So let me ask you, how many of you have had a class on palliative care? Okay. How many of you have ever experienced someone dying? So for me, it was the second one. I actually had no training whatsoever on the first one. And I wish I had before, because it's shocking if you're coming in with no training whatsoever and then that's just thrown at you at your first day. It's very hard. So I'm going to give you guys an assignment, because the awesome thing about being a tech is that you have a really interesting assignment throughout your day. And I want to see if you guys can figure out which one's a really hard patient throughout the whole day, okay? So we have a 1-year-old male who's going to need diaper changes every 2 hours, okay? And don't forget your cream for your diaper dermatitis back there. You have a 15-year-old female, total care, who would like for you to help her eat. You have a 4-month-old male whose parents are extremely nervous about everything. And think about it, right? Like, you have a parent that's a newborn, and they come here, and they're like, wait, what are all these tubes? Why are all these wires hooked up to my child? Luckily, we have Child Life, who helps everyone just feel comfortable. Then we have a 6-year-old male whose parents cannot be here at the hospital. This is something that we see on our unit all the time. We understand that parents have kids, have to go to work, have to pay a mortgage. They can't be here as much as they want to be, or they might have another sick child on another floor. So they're going from 40s to 70s and back from 70s to 40s. Then you have an 18-year-old female who's going to need blood pressures every hour for the next 12 hours of your whole shift. That has actually happened. And you're going to have a 2-year-old male who just got diagnosed. Mom and dad just found out, and dad just flew back from a trip, and he tells mom that he also just got diagnosed with cancer as well, but he's not going to seek any treatment whatsoever because his priority is his son. All this are real cases that have happened here that have known 40s. You're going to have a 10-year-old male, palliative care patient, and all the families there to stop by, just hang out, talk to mom, talk to dad, just visit. And then you have the 12-year-old female asking for a Nintendo Wii. And you guys figure out which one's your heart patient right here, okay? Because that Nintendo Wii is like gold. You guys will realize that it's going to be hard to find. All right, so we're going to focus on that 10-year-old male, okay, with the family that's visiting. But let me ask you, have you guys ever been in a situation where you really didn't know what to say to a parent or to a child? That kind of like awkward moment where they ask you something and you're like, oh man, I don't remember chapter 5 talking about this. I don't remember that class that I took in Power of One that said, hey, remember, if you get asked this one question, answer this way. Well, this is my case. Like, I think it's every day. I'm always like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't think I was trained on how to answer that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have been in that situation before. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to split into groups. I'm going to give you guys like 6 to 7 minutes. We have some signs up here and 3 questions. Just try to divide into groups, and we're going to have different staff members helping around. And we're going to focus on 3 questions. How will you care for the child and the family member? How will you interact with the child and the family member as well? And what should you do? What should you consider before going in the room? Okay? You have some Sharpies. Let's just assign, in your group, just assign someone to write and then someone to be the team leader to answer the questions, okay? And if you guys need help, we can split you guys up too. Maybe have like a child like help like for report.
Will you check what's in the room, what is the child like?
Assess the environment.
What you should never going into the room is the family staff in there. I know we have decals that we use on our floor if a patient is individualized, and we put that up so everybody knows to check first to see like do they even want their room clean, do they even want meals delivered, do they want people checking in on them, like when they want to butterfly. Yeah.
Just a butterfly. And what about having, if they do allow you to come into the room, what about having, making sure that you have everything to walk into the room at the same time, instead of going in, coming out, going in? Yeah.
We're like planning ahead.
On in their time, in their way.
Well, you're not going to say what it is.
Right. Limit entry.
Yeah.
Really, that's like a, speaking softly. Give it, not, just like we do now.
think I want to talk with the nurse who's taking care of the child, making sure that I understand what the family does, like if there's ceremonies, have a good feel, so you're not able to respond, rest now, or there's some kind of cluster in the care. Cluster care.
Would there be only one or two? Probably one.
One, yeah, cluster care.
And also, so I said you're good, Jan.
Robert. I think asking the family, you know, how they would like the day to go, and there are certain things that they need in the room.
We got 5 minutes, everyone.
You know, I mean, what kind of, why not?
What they also have to.
Yeah, we're aware, like,
I think I think
maybe how we might direct that.
because they're so family, how they kind of need like that person to say like, okay, we need to give them time.
Yeah.
And so maybe, having a designated person, maybe checking with the family to make sure that it's still doing okay, and like, are we okay with this amount of people? For some parents, really overwhelmed, child gets super overwhelmed, you don't want to tell. So depending on what the family say, so we have the conversation with the family. So I would say like,
You know, some trays.
Clean up the room.
Or just general traditional things that they might not be wanting.
Well, you can just ask, is there anything you need? All right, everyone, 1 minute.
I said one right, one report.
I can't report my together.
Are you a PCC? All right, guys, 30 seconds. So, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to have group 1 here with their team leader, group 2, group 3, and then group 4, okay? So just the team leader can get up from group 1 and share with everyone.
So we talked about when providing care, things we would consider like consistent care providers to keep that rapport with the family, and clustering care, so like taking vitals and meds, grouping them together, so less interruption. And also considering the entire family's needs and caring for the family as a whole, like family-centered care instead of the individual patient, and seeing their siblings, cousins, other people in the room that may need proper attention. Interacting with family and the patient, we would, since he's 10, developmentally, know that he probably has a lot of questions about his day, so encouraging those, answering them, and being honest about the answers that we are giving them. Another thing, interacting, speaking softly in the room, especially with seniors, and just letting them know we're used to like bouncing back and forth between room and room, but being more aware that this is a different scenario and being aware of that. Asking family what they need or want for care, like what do you want to do about X, Y, and Z, and not just assuming that they're like education. And then this one, Rachel had a great idea about having a designated person to help manage visitors coming in and out, because sometimes families can feel like guilty making other family members leave, but sometimes they just want that personal time with their child. So helping be that person if they need to keep the visitors going. And And then consider before going in the room, like, does the family even want that in the room at that time? Like, are they having a moment? Are they resting? Just having limited visitation. And then making sure you have everything you need when you go into your hospital.
Thank you.
So the first one was how would you care for the child and the family? So we could listen to the child and family and respond to requests as much as we could and give them the time like we want that as well. And how would you interact with the family and the family members? Again, give them space. Respond in their time, in their way. So we would have to kind of do it in an assessment and ask them kind of, and then respond to that, like how they share with us, that's for us to respond to them. And then offer to stay with the child if the family member would like to step out, so to offer that, that's something. And then what should you consider before going into the room? My ICU nurse said not, even though I'm not in ICU, but not, definitely before you go in. And then talk to the nurse caring for the patient, to have a better understanding of the plan, and so that you are aligning with that plan. And to be aware of any, so that you're not doing anything unnecessary in terms of procedure and the care that's being provided. And then also mindfulness, so make sure that we're taking a minute before we go in to take some deep breaths ourselves and care for ourselves.
Thank you.
We did not establish a leader. Do it. So, for how would you care for this child and family members, we started with getting reports so that we can identify if there's any special needs or any special history that we need to know about, identifying what the child likes, making sure that we introduce ourselves and our role and what, so that we can establish expectations that I'm not the RN, I can't bring you the meds, but I can help, what I can do to help you with that. Identify the child's life needs, assess overall needs of the family, and kind of do an assessment of the room. Like, if you've got 10 family members and there's only 2 chairs in there, maybe part of my role is to help, make this family more comfortable, bring them some water, kind of just make it a better environment for them. Kind of also establish what's important to the family and what are their goals for the shift so that I can help them meet those goals for the shift. And then also to make sure that we keep the environment clean, remove any food trays or, dirty stuff. And then how would you interact with the family? Again, get a feel for what the family wants to have through the shift. Consider what they went through the previous shift. Were they awake all night? Maybe this isn't a good time for us to go in. And then ask our previous colleagues how was their night so that we can establish that shared mental model of whether to go in at this point or not. And then what should you consider before going into the room? Kind of the same. Mindfulness, take a deep breath before you go in, know where you are emotionally before you walk into the room, be able to set yourself, so that you're not walking into high emotion with high emotion, and then I can't read the last one. Be present, and then can't read the last. Arden suggests, but I don't know what it means. Anybody else know what that meant? Okay.
No pressure.
So how do you care for the child and family member? In theory, no differently. I mean, we should be providing high quality care to all of our patients. But finding out, in this really difficult moment for the family, what's important to them today. Having a lot of other visitors in the room that may or may not be as familiar with the hospital environment, you have to kind of take all of that into consideration when you may have a relationship with the parents from taking care of this child for such a long time. Interacting with child and family members, I think the other groups covered a lot of it, but just introducing yourself, giving the family privacy, just basic things like showing them where the nourishment room is if they need to step out and get drinks, water, juice, or to even bring it to them, and to provide your extension so they know where to easily reach you if they do need you. What to consider before going in the room, lots of visitors, there's probably lots of emotions, especially if they haven't visited as frequently as immediate family. And just to kind of be prepared, you never know if you're gonna be the person walking into a room that somebody's gonna unload all of their emotions on. And I know another group talks about this, but again, balancing your own emotions, what is or isn't appropriate to share in that moment with that family. You know, you have a relationship with this patient, but for the other family members who may not have visited as frequently, they don't know who you are, and this is still their family member, and you need to kind of respect that. Talking to the R and the team, well, what does today look like? That can, for a palliative patient, who knows, that can go a lot of different ways. So just kind of being mindful of what the potential is for this patient today. And then again, keeping in mind that it is a palliative care patient. You're not gonna, you know, bounce around the room like you would for the 10-year-old who's looking for the Xbox. Just kind of being mindful of yourself.
Thank you. I'm sure you guys are wondering, you're like, Julio, why just split us into groups and make us write stuff and answer questions? I didn't come here to take a test today. But there's a reason for that. See, the one thing that I love about Children's National is that we have such a diverse group. And everyone's coming here, and our focus is that 10-year-old, right? Our focus is to provide the best quality of care. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but like everyone has different answers, because everyone has their own life experiences that they can share and bring onto the table. And that's something that you might not find in a book or might find in a lecture. That's something that, unless if you interact with other staff members, or unless if you work as a team and say, hey, how can we provide the best kind of care for this child? If we don't do that with them, we'll never figure out how we can do that. So the time is 19:15 now, okay, and your shift ends at 7:30. That amazing 10-year-old that you had has passed away now. Okay, you started your shift at 7 a.m., 7:15. And you realize that this is your first time ever as a PCT dealing with anything like this. You've never seen a child pass away before, okay? But you decide to stay because if you guys know, shift changes. It's really crazy. Everyone's running around, everyone's trying to do stuff, and you say, hey, I'm going to stay back and help you. And you guys are going to find out, and I said this to everyone, at 7:24 on the shuttle is a party. It is like everyone's going home, and everyone's excited, and even the driver's playing music. But at 9:45 p.m., you're by yourself. And that shuttle going back to your car with no other coworkers. So you stay back, and you help the nurse get the patient ready, and you're ready to go down to pathology. You're transporting this patient on the stretcher, and the dad says, hey, can I please go down with you? And the rules are, no, you can't. You can't. And they're like, okay, can I just please go at least just halfway? Just halfway, and then you're like, hey, the rules. You get permission from charge, says, okay, just halfway, but then you gotta tell the dad that they can't. And the dad's like, listen, this is something I gotta do. And I tell this to everyone. It is not normal for a parent to come to the hospital with their child and leave the hospital without a child. It's not. And we can't prepare parents for that. We can't say, hey, can we see your license ID? And by the way, hey, just letting you know this could happen. Because we don't know. And the crazy thing is, on my last class that I was teaching this to, someone raised their hand in the middle of me talking about this part and said, do you mind if I share something with you? And I was like, go ahead. Because I love when people interact with me and just want to share. She goes, my child died in this hospital. She goes, and I still haven't recovered from that. And it took me years. But the one thing I knew I could do was to come back here and work in this hospital and make sure that other parents didn't have to deal with what I dealt with, or at least help them and guide them or give them some sort of advice that I wish I had when I was here. And I was like, I didn't know what to say, because I was like, I've never had anyone share that, especially in the middle of a class. And that's all she said. She didn't say anything else for the rest of the class, and I was like, it's powerful. So you're back home. And I don't know about you guys, but my family's not in the medical field whatsoever, at all. So you go home and what do you say? And you say, hey, mom, dad, or significant other, or to your kids, this is what I dealt with today. I saw a 10-year-old pass away. Can they handle that? Are they prepared to handle that? Are they prepared to hear everything that happens to you at work every single day? Some family members are, some are not. So do you have someone you feel comfortable at home or at work to talk to? And this is what I ask everyone. What do you do if you don't have someone at home to talk to? And also, do you ever feel like maybe you're not trained to deal with stuff like this? You see, when that amazing 10-year-old passed away, that's something that I had to deal with. I didn't have someone at home to talk to. Because that's just, my parents are not in the medical field, and I was still new here. Still didn't have this awesome friendships and connections that I have now with everyone. And I went home and I was like, okay, what do I do with all this emotion? What do I do with all this? Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I upset? Like, what do I do? And then I was like, well, the only thing I can do is just go for a walk. And I'm just gonna walk, and I'm just gonna listen to music, and that's all I'm gonna do, and then maybe it'll just figure itself out. Then everything changed when I joined Panda, and that was thanks to Debbie. Because here's what they teach you. First, take a breath, right? Who wrote that down? I know some people were like, hey, take a deep breath. And every time Debbie starts the class, she says, hey, before we start, just everyone take a deep breath. And at first I was like, okay, I'm already breathing. I'm already breathing heavy. Like, I think I got that down. And she was like, everyone close your eyes, take a deep breath, just zone in, forget everything, just try to relax before we start this long day or before we start what we're going to learn. She's like, you can apply this too. Every day when you're at work, just take a deep breath. Next thing I tell people is get a full report. You getting a full report makes a huge difference. Because now you're going into a room and you're at least mentally prepared, or at least you know what your objective is for the day and how you're going to be prepared. The next thing I tell people is it's okay to not feel comfortable. I think after I finished my Panda Cup orientation, the 3 days straight that we do, my first assignment was 8 kids, which is normal tech assignment. 3 of those were end of life, and 1 of them passed away that night. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable. I was like, is this what Debbie was talking about? It's okay to not feel comfortable? I'm like, I mean, I get it. Like, I have somewhat of an idea, but it's not there yet. But I tell everyone it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel like that. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to feel scared. That's a normal feeling that you're going to have. But I also remind people to don't drown in your assignment. Seek help. Talk to your charge nurse. Talk to another tech. Talk to someone else. Say, hey, can you help me just for 5 minutes? Can you help me with this kid? Or can you help me with this parent? I don't really know how to interact with that. And I tell them to listen. I feel like we always try to answer when someone says something. But the reality is that most parents don't want an answer. They just want someone to listen to. That's why I love EBS. I'm like in love for EBS. I'm like their biggest fan. Because they go in the room and might not know what to say, but they'll listen to you. And they'll just stand there and they'll listen to you. And they're amazing at doing that. The next thing I tell people is, and it's what you guys wrote, which was amazing, address the child. The awesome thing that we learned while we're going through our class is that we actually have family members come back to us and talk to us about their experience. And that was powerful because we had a mom say, hey, the nurses were awesome, the doctors were awesome, the techs were awesome, everyone was awesome, the whole hospital was awesome. It was, we understood what happened and we knew this was going to happen. But the one thing that drove her crazy the entire time was the staff members would walk in and not address what was happening here. They would just address mom or dad. And they would be like, how can I help you today? What do you need? How is he feeling? How is she feeling? Do you think they're comfortable? And mom would be like, hey, that's my son. That's my daughter. They're still here. They haven't gone anywhere. Like, please address them just like you address me. And I'll be honest, at first, I was nervous. And I'll be like, well, how do you talk to a child that's not going to answer back at you? And I was like, well, how about I just learn their name? How about I just call them by their name when I come in the room? how about I just say, hey, good morning, Johnny? And then next thing I know, Johnny has a blanket of the Redskins because he's a Redskins fan. I go, is Johnny really a fan of the Redskins or is he not? You know, and try to interact with him like that, and then try to update him on how the game was last night, or whatever. Even if I didn't like football, it's okay. Like, I know my patient likes football, so I'm gonna try to learn a little bit about that. And here's something that actually I never thought about, was making sure that the parents feel comfortable in the room. You see, for a lot of parents looking at that monitor, that's everything to them. Making sure that they said, hey, SpO2 of 100%. So oxygen level of 100%. They're always like, 100%, wait, 99%, wait, what just happened? Is he okay? Is she okay? Oh, back to 100, okay. And they'll just stare at that monitor. And just going back and say, Mom, Dad, it's okay. You know, you're going to see little changes here and there. Or either, hey, you can sit on the bed with your child. It's okay. Like, just because it's a hospital bed doesn't mean that you can't sit next to them or lay there with them for a couple seconds or a couple minutes, or if you need that time with your child. It's all about making those parents feel comfortable. And the last thing I tell people is always just turn your phone off. I know it's something very simple, but we tend to forget. Usually when I get my assignment, I look at my kids and I'm like, okay, gotta remember, just at least put it on silent for a few minutes while I'm gonna be in there, because I know I'm gonna be in there for a while. Or if not, I'll text the other text to the nurses. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in room so-and-so, so you might not be able to reach me for the next 20 minutes if we're doing like a bath or a bed change or anything like that. And just you interacting with that parent or that child and not hearing the phone go off makes a huge difference to them, because it makes them feel like you care. It makes them feel like you're listening to them, and that moment does matter to you. Don't worry, you guys are doing great so far, okay? This is just the intro to Panda. And here's what I tell you, if you don't have anyone to reach to at home, I throw every Panda cup under the bus and I'm like, reach out to them, because they may not have every answer for you, but they can listen, because they're awesome at listening. Because that's one thing we learned, just listen, it's okay. Also, the hospital has a lot of resources, and this is something that I go into with environmental services. Just because they might not be able to find a Panda cup or know where to find one, is that the hospital does have programs there for staff members to seek help with either stress, depression, or just anything that's going on. And it's like, I think 5 free sessions that you get. There's also chaplain services in the hospital if that's something that you want to seek as well, and they're amazing. And if none of that works because you don't want to reach out to someone, here's the best thing we learned from Debbie is find a midpoint for your commute. Midpoint. It could be a light, it could be a building, a tree, anything, and at that point you're saying, okay, from now on I'm not going to think about work, I'm going to go back to thinking about what's going on in my life, where I was going to go for dinner, what movie I was going to go see, or et cetera. And then on the way back, when you're coming into work, you go, okay, now I got to put everything on hold and make sure I start focusing on work and what my task is for the day. Because what I tell everyone is just take some time for yourself. Sleep, go shopping, bake cookies. I don't know how to bake. Go for a crazy pool day, not in this weather. Go to the movies. Just don't forget who you are as a person. I tell everyone, don't let your badge define who you are. Just because you wear this badge doesn't mean that's all you are. You are more than that. So here's some opportunities for you guys to consider. You could be a Panda Cub, you could be on the skin team, decon team, shared nursing leadership, someone said with Rebecca, and other committees. So you may say, hey, so why did you develop this whole program? Why did you spend a whole year? Why are we now teaching into the hospital? Well, that's actually a very hard question to answer because it means so much to me, and it's because I had that 10-year-old as one of my patients, and he was super shy, he didn't want to talk to anyone, he was afraid of you wearing scrubs or wearing a mask or wearing gloves, and didn't speak the language either, and we would spend days trying to go one word at a time, and there were points like he didn't want to eat because he didn't recognize the food, and all he wanted to do was eat ramen noodle, and I was like, give you ramen noodles, we try pancakes at least for this one day. Or can we try an omelet or anything else? And the hard part was that he didn't know where his diagnosis was going. Because mom didn't want him to know. Because mom wanted him to be happy and be comfortable and not be stressed with all that. But every single night, mom would step out of the room and just cry. Or she would see me in the hall and be like, hey, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm stressed. Like, I know he doesn't know, but this is all that I'm thinking about. And she would be like, what should I do? And then I would try to refer her to the right people to talk to, social workers, to child life, anyone, or just be there and just listen to her. This awesome 10-year-old, it took us months to get him out of his room. He was in a wheelchair, and I was like, hey, go outside, it's okay, no one's scary. And he's like, I don't know what to talk to people about. And I was like, well, you love Iron Man. I was like, that is your thing, Iron Man. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we can get someone in this floor to talk to us about Iron Man. So we will go around the whole unit, and we'll go to the nurse and be like, do you like Iron Man, yes or no? And they knew they had to say yes. And they'll be like, yes, I love Iron Man. And you would see the smile on his face. The sad part was that when he got discharged for a short period, and he came back, mom would say, hey, he left in a good mood, he's back sad and depressed. And I was like, why? Like, what's going on? She's like, well, he went to school finally, and kids just started picking on him because he was in a wheelchair or because his hair wasn't there. And I was like, well, that's not right. And she was like, can you talk to him? And I was like, I can try. I was like, I don't know if I'm the best person because I can talk. And then I went into his room and I was like, hey, bro, what's wrong? What's up? He's like, oh, just a kid, just picking on me, whatever. I was like, okay. I was like, it's like, whatever they say, don't let it get to you. That doesn't matter. I'm like, what else is wrong? And he goes, well, there's this girl I like, and I'm trying to request her on Facebook. And I'm like, wait, you have Facebook? I'm like, what too young for that. But I was like, okay. She's like, what should I do? And I was like, wait. I was like, she says yes. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I have to talk to mom. I was like, to get her approval first. But I remember towards the end, we got him a little cheered up due to his diagnosis. He started deteriorating. I was able to see him the night before he passed away, and it was just mom laying in the bed with him, just holding him. And you see, for the longest time while he was here, mom never laid in that bed. She always had a chair, and she would always grab the chair and sit next to him and hold his hand. But that night, that mom went in there and said, I don't care what the rules are. This is my child. I'm going to lay next to my child. I'm going to hold him until the end. And all he wanted, when I would talk to him, he's like, I just want to be treated. I just want to be treated normal, like a normal kid. He's like, and I want other kids who are going through this to have a good experience and for them to not be treated different just because they may look different from other kids, or just because they're extremely sick. I just want to be able to enjoy my time. So I was like, that whole conversation with him, I was like, we have to do something about this. Like, we cannot let staff members, at least on my level, just not be trained on how to deal with this, or just be aware of all this, especially because they're coming in with so many awesome ideas and so many life experiences that they can share. And I remember reaching out to Debbie, and I was like, hey, I just ran into this situation with a staff member from EBS. I was like, do you also think that this would be a good chance for us to try this, program on them as well, and to introduce them? And she was like, yeah, what's wrong with it? And you may be like, well, why EBS? We're switching from talking about patient care tech to EBS. Well, it's because of this one quote, and I put this quote up here because it's the actual quotes from classes that we've done. No one ever asked me how I felt after a code. We had a member from EBS who was in the middle of cleaning a room when a code happened, and with everyone rushing in, she got pushed to the corner and witnessed this whole thing in front of her. And she saw all this happen. They grabbed the child, got him on the stretcher, everything, went down to pick you, room's a mess. everyone goes into the team center and says, okay, let's have a huddle, let's talk about this, what can we do better next time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they turn around and say, hey, we have some admissions coming, can you please get the room ready? And that's it. So this staff member went home, had no one to talk to, because her family didn't understand. Didn't have a coworker to share this with because she didn't feel comfortable. She just experienced all this. And I was like, well, why are we ignoring this awesome group of people? Why are we saying, hey, no, you don't need this training, or hey, this is what your job title is, and that's it. And the thing that I do in every presentation is that I actually go to Children's National and I post a job title on my slide, and I say, hey, here's your job title, here's what's required from you. By the way, here's what you're going to experience when you get here. And I do the same thing for EBS. I'm like, it says this, but it doesn't say anything about a mom talking to you because she feels comfortable with you, because she sees you every single day. A lot of our EBS staff spend years on their floor, and they never change. But it's traumatic to them as well when they go from, let's say, 7 East, and then someone calls out and they have to go to 4 East, and something happens that day, or they go to the PICU or CICU. They're not trained and they're not aware of that. For the last 9 years, all they've known is their unit and all the staff from their unit. Now they go to a unit that they don't know anyone. So I always end with the quote, and for the longest time, my quote was, I wish my mind would forget the things my eyes have seen. But because of all this work that we've been doing and all this interactions that I've been doing with everyone, is the moment we stop looking at someone for the badge they wear, is the moment we look at them for who they are as a person. The awesome thing about Children's National is that we have so many people with different ideas, different life experiences coming here to make this hospital better and empower each other and help our kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you still have like 5 minutes left, if anyone has any questions about the work we've been doing or anything in general, and if not, we also have popcorn in the back.
I don't have any specific questions, but thank you. I think this was an amazing presentation. I had no expectation of what I was coming into, but I'm walking away in tears. So thank you. I'm a big crybaby, but I did not expect to come in. I did not expect to come in here and cry, but I think the work that you've done and what you're sharing is amazing. I just said to Ginger, like, Kurt Newman needs to hear from you. Like, this is what in the auditorium. This is what Kurt expects of all of us, and you're doing it. And it would be amazing if he heard your presentation this afternoon. He would love it. Thank you.
So, I have a question just following along with that, and you focus on EBS, which is great, but there's other services too that I think would really, really.
And that's our goal for 2019 is to start introducing this to other things as well.
Maybe all employees, different.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a nurse, but as nurses and child life specialists who have that real personal connection, I think we often forget about the people, like you said, the physical therapists have relationships with the patients, and, the EBS people who are honestly more consistent than any nurse or anything else, because the same person coming in and out every day may have a stronger connection than the nurse who's there once a week. So, I think this is incredible, and I think there's definitely something to be said for any person in the hospital that has a connection to the patient to understand their side of things, because as nurses, as child life specialists, we see it every day, but as an EBS person or a physical therapist who doesn't really get that palliative care training experience, they feel the same emotion, so.
So, since this is research, I'm going to turn this to a research question. So one, I know I'm a problem kid. So Julio and I really want to break this up and do this in a more research-focused fashion. So one of the things we struggle with is, like, what are meaningful outcomes? What do we want to measure in this?
So I thought I would throw that out for a 2-minute discussion. What do you all, I mean, the quotes are wonderful, and, you know, how many people come, and, you know, all that stuff is sort of, you know, we're definitely going to collect and have been collecting that kind of stuff. But what other outcomes can you all think of that may be important, you with your research hat on, and, you know, we're presenting this someplace? Yeah.
Some sort of tool on meaningfulness.
So I'm thinking compassion, satisfaction, compassion, successful quality of work life for multiple groups of employees, nurses, non-nurses, before and after the training. So you do pre-post, pre-training.
Right.
I mean, we all love patient satisfaction, but I mean, Jack's saying that. So anyway, the other thing is patient, I mean, you would think that if the entire enterprise had some kind of training around this, and we all were coming from the same type, you would think that the perception would be that we're caring, and so that maybe our schools should go up.
Well, we have a new coming to Panda satisfaction, so we could add something in there about other, you know, members crossing, other staff crossing. Yeah, something in there. For Panda Cubs, we did a moral stress panel, and we were able to show a decrease in moral stress, which is the Panda Cubs, so we something like that as well.
Team, some sort of team measure. Team, I would include PBS.
All right, well, thank you. You think about that? Sure.